My name is Jordan Pearson. I'm from Torbay in Devon. I've been a youth worker, I've been a support worker, and I've even ran my own community centre. And throughout those journeys, I've met so many ordinarily kind people that don't get the recognition that they deserve. So this is my attempt to recognise them. I think kindness is within all of us. It costs nothing to be kind, but it probably means the most. We're looking for kind people that are passionate about what they do and really trying to make a huge difference in their community. These people are the backbone of our society, giving one thing that you can't get more of, their time. In these last few episodes, I'm riding solo, and I'm determined to get to the nitty-gritty of what makes these organisations thrive. Everyday, ordinary, kind people. So today we're down in Hackney and we're excited to see Alana and the team based at Gascoyne Community Centre. I've heard so much about them and we want to find out more about what they're doing day to day and also seeing how they're such a pivotal part of the community. So Alana, tell us the story of how Gascoyne 1 Community Centre started.
So the old one was demolished. This new community centre was built, I think it was around 2015. And the previous community centre was run by the residents and the TRA, which is the Tenants and Residents Association. But this new one had been given over to a private organisation to run. And a lot of the residents were complaining about the organisation, that they were double booked or they didn't turn up for their kids' birthday parties. So having listened to their concerns, I decided that, it'd be a really good idea to bring that back to be run by the residents, the TRA. So we began a negotiation with Sanctuary of how we felt that the community centre should be run. And then we hope that we'll be able to run it sustainably. And, so we won't be relying on Sanctuary to pay our bills, that we will have income, and from that income, we will then provide free activities for the local community.
What I love is that there's different events happening every day. There's yoga, there's Pilates, there's elderly dance exercise as well, which is quite fun seeing, over 65s actually working out instead of usually staying at home. And they also get to have tea and biscuits afterwards, which is quite a nice treat as well. So what I like is that the community feels like a real community, not one where everyone is just by themselves.
Gascoyne community is a community that I would like everyone to come and see. It's vibrant and people here, someone said before, is like a family community. It's like we're related. You can see the relationship between everyone. It's diverse. It's no different colors, different languages, different background, and we just think we're just the same. I mean, we are not the same, but we are different in our individual ways, but we are just one. It's so fantastic, the Gascoyne community. I would love to live there and live there forever. If that's possible.
That you feel like that though, isn't it?
Yeah, I feel like that because, people, when you come in the morning, people will say good morning. People will greet you whether they know you or they don't know you. People are good listeners. They're ready to help. They're ready to support. They're ready to listen to your problem. I just don't know the right word to use, but I know that it's like a family community.
Day to day, could you give me a little run through on what your role here at the community centre looks like in a day-to-day aspect?
In the first lockdown, I started making masks, fabric masks. And then I thought, why don't I just bring my sewing machine to the community centre and maybe get some people to come and join me. So that's what I did. So I've brought my computer or my sewing machine here. And I had loads of fabric that I've gathered over the years because it's my hobby. So we got a couple of sewing machines from the youth club. We still have them, so they're on a long loan kind of thing. And then we had other people in the community that gave us some sewing machines. So now we've got 6 or 7 sewing machines. And we made about 1,000 masks, triple layered fabric masks with little bone here, and we gave them out free.
I've lived on Gascoyne estate now. Well, I'm 56, but 52 years of that 56 years. My mum is probably the oldest resident now. And since the lockdown, and obviously I know things are getting regular, life is, I don't like using the word normal, but I cannot say how grateful, and I speak on behalf of all of Gascoyne tenants, how grateful we are, how the communities come together.
Wednesday is the busiest day. We have Pilates, we have the sewing hub, we have the food bank, and then in the evening we have the youth club.
One person who utilises this amazing space is Michelle, the founder of Children with Voices and the Community Food Hub.
Poverty is in the increase. No child should go hungry. No adult should go hungry. We've heard a lot of people dying through starvation. That's diabolical in this day and age because the supermarkets and shops do have a lot of surplus food. We came on board through Platform Zero. They were a company who decided to get in contact with various shops and talk about their surplus food and ask if they can offer it to people like myself. That's the first ever platform, which was an amazing platform. And then from that, I went into every single shop in Mare Street, every single shop in Dalston, asking for donations. Hence, further along the lines, we're connected to all the major supermarkets, the local shops, Wells Street, Dalston, even the community. Even the community come in with light bags of donations. I had a phone call just yesterday, and it was a neighbour, and she said she ordered too much food, and could she drop it off? And I'm like, yeah, please do so. Last year, we tackled Heat or Eat for the elderly. That was a big major thing for them, whether they're going to put heat in their house, whether they're going to eat. We shouldn't have that situation with our elderly. Come on, they've been through the wars. They've given us an opportunity to be here now. So we should be embracing and looking after them. But then this year, it's gone even worse because now it's affecting the families. So you've got a family who's going to decide, do we put gas on, do we pay the bill, or do we eat? We have lots of parents going without food to make sure their children have food. And like I said, there's no need for waste because the amount of food that I collect every single day goes to show you that they need to reduce the food costs so people can afford to eat decently. It's a basic essential, it's a basic need. So it's passion and commitment and loyalty to my community that has made me work 24/7, every single day, every hours, and I love what I do.
It's not just the food crisis that Michelle cares about. There are other issues in her community that she's trying to solve, particularly one that affects her children.
Right, I don't know who invented this postcode wars because the streets do not belong to any individual. No. I think people nowadays, when they hear about it, it just goes over their head now because a couple of years ago, it was really bad. So you'd have a child who would live in E8 and they'd want to go and see their grandma who lives in E9. And as they're making their journey, somebody from E9, a youth, will see this child, not seeing this child in this area and want to kill him because you've crossed territory. Rubbish. That should have been stopped ages ago. I think the police have lacked in their discipline in tackling that problem. So now it's escalated. It's affected me because of the area that I lived at, and it affected my boys. So there are times when I was trying to move and I was told, well, you can't move to Brixton, Mum, because Brixton and Hackney are in wars. You can't move to Tottenham because Tottenham and Hackney are in wars. And I had to sit there one day and say, Lord, if you want me to still live here, you have to give me something productive to do. I have to be one of those parents who are doing something and not just being a victim. Hence, Jumping Beans was formed. My youngest was 7 at the time, and I need to make it different for him. So like I said, I can educate my son at home, but then when he goes outside, he's gonna be influenced by others. So Jumping Beans was formed for us to be going to different halls. So we did about 12 different locations in Hackney, and he's able to meet these different children and they're connected. And then we have our Instagram page which the parents connect, but then we also do parent volunteering, so the parents come and volunteer as well. So it's a big community thing.
Is that breaking down the barrier of
Yes.
E9 and E8, but
Yes.
at a younger age?
Yes.
Where it's not, this sort of a sense, I don't know, because I don't really know what I'm talking about, but that sense of you can't do that because they're E8 and you're E9. you getting there before that
Prevention.
happens.
So prevention's better than cure.
Yeah.
And the reason why we start from 5 to 11, because that's the age of obesity, that's the age where the gangs will try and get you if you're playing about on the street. They're all in primary school, so primary school over there, primary school over there, primary school over there. But then when you get to secondary school, all 3 children that have gone to these different primary schools end up in the same secondary school. And then that's where the situation happens. If we get them at a young age, then they're already friends. So when they go to secondary school, they know each other. Example, my son, who's now going to be 14 in November, because I've been doing jumping beans and he's seen all these children, he goes to secondary school and all of these children are there and it's nothing. There's no postcode wars, there's no hate, there's no nothing, because they know me, I know their parents, and the children know each other. So I think that if we start early to get these children to understand that there's nothing wrong with them, there should be no discrimination about where you live and how you live, because our families and friends are spread out all over the place. And I'm sick and tired of hearing stories of like a 10-year-old boy going across the fields to go and see his grandma and he gets stabbed because he's in the wrong place at the wrong time.
That's not okay, is it?
It's not okay. My sons have been victims of that as well. You know, we live like in an area and, you know, you get other guys driving by and then they want to sort of like, where do you live? Where's your postcode? So my boys have been attacked, my older boys. Hence, it was imperative that I did something for my younger son and the people that he's growing up with. So it wasn't something, it was a must. I had to do it.
We can all see the problems that Michelle and her team are trying to eliminate, yet most of us do little about it. Luckily for Hackney, Michelle takes caring to a whole new level.
Michelle came, I think, in the halfway through the first year. So she's been delivering food and packaging food for vulnerable people. There's no questions asked about your finances. You know, if you need food, it's there for you. She's one of the most hardest working people I know. She does a food bank, you know, every day of the week in various different community centres. It's just unbelievable the work that she does. She's just really, really brilliant.
I just love Michelle's energy. I've known Michelle a very long time. And I just love her passion for these things. You know, we all have a passion and Michelle is just a go-getter. And that's what I love about Michelle. She's always busy. She's always, if we're driving down the road, she'll stop in the middle of the road and be like, hey, you know, got to feed this person, I've got to feed that person. But I just love her energy and what she's doing.
I've just watched you today, buzzing around, not stopping, going, you know, Clea's like, oh, I've got to tackle her to get her to go for a break. Like, there's a drive in there that is deeper than just, I care or I'm kind. Like, there's something really in you that's like, I ain't gonna stop. Because there's no doubt that you're tired. I'm not having you say you're not tired. I have no doubt.
No, there are
tired.
times, yeah.
And you've got this inner fuel that goes, well, I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep getting up. I'm gonna keep driving. What's that? Where's that from?
I just think about the people. Okay, I'll give you a story. My mum was in hospital for 3 weeks a couple of months ago. Something that was totally unexpected. And my team was so concerned about me. And it was the case of like, Misha, shut the hub. I'm like, I can't shut the hub for one person, even though that's my mum. There's like thousands of people who we feed all the time. I can't shut it. So I ended up sort of like doing the hubs and then running to the hospital and then staying overnight at the hospital and then getting up and then going straight to the hub. It was tiring, but I did it and I'm okay. The hardest thing is not being listened to sometimes, not being heard, being ignored, being pushed to one side. Or seeing the good work we're doing and piling more work on top of us. I.e., we don't get that much support from the council, but yet they can still refer their clients to us. So you look at this picture and you look at there's a grassroots organisation, BAME grassroots organisation, and everybody around is diverting their clients to us, but yet we're still stuck here. We're not getting any support, any help, but we're still going and we're still growing. And that's just because of the support of the volunteers. Like I said, I love my volunteers so, so much. Without them, there is no community food hub. And so, appreciation.
I've always liked doing this kind of thing anyway. And my thing is to give back to the community. The whole experience of on an upscale, you kind of get to meet new people. At the same time, it's a bit sad because you actually see being kind of like the people on the ground, like having your ear to the floor, you actually see what is actually needed. And I'm glad to be a part of a team that is actually reaching out and doing that.
For me, it's a bittersweet because where I grew up in Jamaica, I grew up in the poverty-stricken areas, and there are times when my mum didn't have food for us to eat, and it was so hard. And I remember I used to sit and cry and say, any day named day I can afford to eat. There's not a time that I'm gonna have food and not share it. So what I started doing was I started cooking at my home and start giving out food to people. And I used to cook every Sundays and bring it to the Pedro Club and give people food. I'll cook my food and I'll put it on Facebook and share it out and say, this is what I cook. Who wanna come and get it? And then I got friends and family that just come and get it. So that's me. Food is so important, and I've been to places where I've seen people starving. So you put anything in front of me and I'll make a meal. Anything, and I'll make a meal out of it. That's me.
So for me, it's the case of like, no matter what kind of rejection I get, it's all about the people. It's the children. That's why we call children with voices. It's about giving those children an opportunity to express themselves, getting away from the postcode wars, sorting out their childhood obesity, doing sports and activity, doing like arts and craft, getting the children to have a childhood. I'm more concerned about the children because they are our next generation.
A community centre is just a building. It's the people within it that make it so special. With Alana, Michelle, and everyone else working together, the community of Hackney is in safe hands, making sure nobody gets left behind. To find out more, head to ordinarykindness.co.uk, or to donate, go on the Just Giving page and type in Ordinary Kindness.